Unprecedented is the word that you are going to hear a lot of time throughout the day as the clampdown in Kashmir continues. Just half an hour to go for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's crucial cabinet meeting on security. Amit Shah, the Home Minister, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval already at Prime Minister's residence. Amit Shah also met Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad before he made his way to Lok Kalyan Marg, the residence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Going across to my colleague Kamaljit Sandhu for more details on this. Kamal, what is the latest coming in? It's been half an hour. The National Security Advisor and the Home Minister are in close consultation, in closed-door meeting with the Prime Minister.
Well, the chief architects of what is going to be a historic decision are already inside LKM. And what we've been told by our sources, Ravi Shankar Prasad, the Law Minister, has also shortly reached here. So yes, a high-level discussion ahead of the important CCS, and then thereafter there is going to be that big announcement. But what we do not know is, one, what time and whether this is going to be in the Parliament, whether there will be a separate briefing regarding this, the repercussions of it. Because remember, what very few people know about is what does Article 35A mean? This not just gives special status, it also defines who's the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir, and it also entitles the property rights. And now remember, a Kashmiri man, if he marries outside the state, continues to hold the property. His children continue to hold the property rights. But for a woman, those rights are taken away. However, there was a slight amendment brought in and the women were given rights. However, the children of such a woman who marries somebody, a subject outside the state, do not entail property. So that is what it is. The gender justice simply not there in Article 35A, and that is what was really challenged in the apex court. Now, many have been saying that the government should have waited for the Supreme Court order, a direction from the court. However, the legal experts tell us that it is going to be a perfectly valid and a legal decision for them to take. This is a 1954 presidential order. The order can simply be revoked by the cabinet and a decision can be taken. The president will eventually revoke the order. This will be told to the public. And yes, it's not just the parliament, but the people of Jammu and Kashmir, the country who really wants to know what's been happening in the state of Jammu and Kashmir for the past 1 week. There's been panic, there's been anxiety, there has been a state of continuous confusion. There is going to be a lot of clarity today, and in most likelihood, a historic decision which will have a magnitude effect, and the ripple effect is not going to be seen just in the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Let me also, in fact, take our viewers to the latest, which is, in fact, happening in Jammu and Kashmir after days of furious speculation and build-up. It may finally be the big day for Jammu and Kashmir. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair a high-level cabinet meeting in just about 25 minutes from now. Modi met Home Minister Amit Shah before the all-important meeting. Amit Shah also chaired a high-level security and intelligence meet. The cabinet meeting ahead of the parliament session today is expected to take crucial decisions on the way ahead for the valley. BJP has already issued a whip for party MPs to be present in the parliament for 2 days starting today. Meanwhile, the opposition, including the valley-based PDP and National Conference, are all set to raise the issue of Jammu and Kashmir in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha today. The government, asking the government to clarify, Congress leader P. Chidambaram attacked the centre. He tweeted, "The government is determined to embark on a misadventure in Jammu and Kashmir." Kamaljit Sandhu and Shujaul Haq Thakur, along with Sunil Bhatt, joining us from Srinagar, from Delhi and from Jammu to get you the latest from all these places. Shuja, as the build-up now seems to be, and a lot of speculation around removal of Article 35A, it is very clear that what is happening at the LC and what the government is planning are two separate things that the government is dealing with. How is the valley prepared to tackle a big news coming in from New Delhi today?
Well, yes, a few things have becoming clear now, Ankit. Over past few days, there has been all sort of uncertainty prevailing in the valley. It began with the first batch of 10,000 more troops being sent, and then additional 25,000 more being dispatched, and their induction following with a series of official orders which were being around, suggesting that massive preparations were being made for something big to happen. We did see the government trying to say that nothing that sort was going to happen. We saw even the governor coming out and saying that there would be, no forward movement in terms of Article 35A, etc. But now people do have an idea here that the kind of preparations that have been made, the kind of clampdown that they are seeing, kind of blockage of the communication networks that they're seen, it does seem that some major policy decision with regards to the state of Jammu and Kashmir is in the offing. We are still not, speculating. We are not making guesses here. We are basically reporting the facts. We are not going into any kind of speculations here. These are the things that are happening on the ground. The fact is that massive preparations are on to deal with some sort of a law and order situation that could happen. That is the reality here on the ground. All eyes on the meeting that is taking place or will be taking place at the Prime Minister's residence at 9:30 and the announcements that could happen. If it is Article 35A and the special status of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, then it has huge possibility of an impact, and whether the state is ready for bracing it up is something that we'll have to wait and see.
Right, stay on with me. I request all of you to be with us. Unprecedented clampdown in Kashmir after the hectic overnight developments. Now, internet services, broadband and even landline services has been snapped across Kashmir Valley. Even during the Kargil war, such restrictions were not imposed. National Conference leader Umar Abdullah and PDP chief, former Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti have been put under house arrest. Both shared concern over the clampdown in the valley. Congress leader Usman Majid and CPI-M MLA M.Y. Tarigami have claimed to be house arrested. Satellite phones have been given to all key government officials and paramilitary forces in the state to communicate. Jammu and Kashmir governor also held late-night meeting with the DGP, IG and Chief Secretary to review the security scenario in the state. The government imposed restrictions under Section 144 and in Srinagar and Jammu, all educational institutions have also been asked to remain closed. There is a complete bar on holding any kind of public rally or meeting.
Restrictions had been imposed across the Kashmir Valley. We are here in the Srinagar, where already during the night, internet services, mobile services, phone services had been snapped across the Kashmir Valley. We are seeing huge deployment of security forces, particularly the paramilitary forces across the Srinagar and other towns of the valley. Here is a company of SS which had been told to be on high alert and be ready during the night, and they are since night here, and their officer was saying that they had been told that if they will be needed, the police will tell them to where reach and how to reach. But so far, everyone is facing tough times in the Kashmir Valley, as all the communication means are so far barred across the Kashmir Valley. There are restrictions imposed in Srinagar and other parts of the Kashmir Valley, particularly here in the Srinagar. Shopkeepers had been told by the police not to open the shops, and even there are restrictions on the movement of the people across Srinagar. People are not sure what is going to happen, but what we are getting from the sources that all the mainstream political party leaders have been kept under house arrest. They are not being allowed to move out of their homes and houses, and also there are complete restrictions on the movement of the people in sensitive areas of Srinagar. With cameraman Roof Ahmed, Ashrafani, India Today in Srinagar.
Restrictions have been imposed all across Kashmir Valley yesterday night and today in the morning. We are seeing that most of the roads and streets have been blocked. Last night, the administration had said that Section 144 has been imposed and people are asked not to move out of their houses. And today, we can see policemen and paramilitary forces deployed on the ground here, asking the people basically not to venture out. We also saw announcements being made that curfews have been imposed. A lot of people who have come out of their houses is saying that they have to go to some places which are important, and many of them have been just completely stopped. There are blockades all over Srinagar city. This after all the high activity that took place last night, in which even the political leaders like Mehbooba Mufti, Umar Abdullah, Sajjad Lone and many others have been house arrested in a very unprecedented move. Now, over past few days, there has been this atmosphere of uncertainty in the valley with the kind of developments that are taking place. A lot of people have been speculating that this is to do with some major policy decisions that are to be taken with regards to Kashmir and the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and that's why a lot of activity was seen over past few days. Last night, the government has also clamped down on the internet services. Mobile phones are down, internet networks are down, even the broadband and landline communications have been shut down today. All of it giving a sense that something major was going to happen in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. With cameraman Tariq Shujaul Haq in Srinagar for India Today.
All right, Home Minister Amit Shah has just left Prime Minister's residence after almost 40 minutes, of being inside in a meeting. NSA Ranjit Doval was also present there. Now, a key meeting on the cabinet security is going to take place very shortly, in just about 18 minutes from now. But Amit Shah, who reached the Prime Minister's residence at just about 8:25, has now left. Now, Kamaljeet Sandhu outside the Prime Minister's residence. Kamal, it seems that the Home Minister is done with his briefing to the Prime Minister. He's going to make a comeback when the Cabinet Committee on Security does meet at about 20 minutes from now.
Well, yes, the Home Ministry has been burning the midnight oil, especially the Home Minister, who's been micromanaging every moment. And remember, he's been known for those particular skills as BJP president and the thumping majority that the government has really got in Lok Sabha polls. But now is the task where he has to manage law and order. He has to manage what is happening in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, take the people along. So it's a much larger responsibility than just being the BJP president. And what we've been known and told, there have been enough indications given by the government earlier also. I remember Man Ki Baat, where the Prime Minister said that the people of Jammu and Kashmir want to join the mainstream. So yes, there have enough hints which have been dropped. Not just to the political parties, but also the people of Jammu and Kashmir, that centre is going to go for a major overhaul, a major change in status quo. That is what is going to change the demographics. This is what is going to change what is the status of J&K. Remember, Article 370 itself gives a special status, but the crux of it is Article 35A, because it gives, not only defines what is the permanent resident of Jammu and Kashmir, but also entitles them to property rights. Now, there has been a talk about gender inequality. The woman who marries outside the state, she may have the property, but she cannot bequeath it to her children. That means there are total loss. So again, that
all right, we'll go in detail. We'll go in detail about Article 35A. Kamal, just stay on with me. In fact, we are also being joined on the broadcast right now with R.K. Gaur, constitutional expert. Major General A.K. Sivaj is also with us on the broadcast. He's an expert on defense and also, in fact, knows Jammu and Kashmir very closely. Sudesh Sharma, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, also joining us with more details. I just want to come to you first, Mr. Gaur, about Article 35A. What can the government do if the government has decided to remove Article 35A? What steps will the government will have to take from here on?
The government has all the power to amend this. This was an interim arrangement. 1954 order promulgated by the then President of India was issued for an interim measure for a period of 5 years, and it was extended later on. So the interim measure cannot take the permanent place in the Constitution. However, in 1968, a Constitution bench of Supreme Court of India held that the 35A, the insertion of 35A by exercising the power of Article 370 is valid. But the government of India can change it very well, and in light of the proposition that the situation is not changed much from 1954. In fact, the scheme was discussed in a constitutional bench judgment of 1968.
May I request you to stay on with me? Let's just very quickly go across to my colleague Ashraf Bani, who is speaking to a few people in Srinagar to get us more of the sense of the ground, of what is prevailing on the ground right now.
They treat us animals, right? Like we are living in a jungle.
थैंक यू सर स्टीव मैं एक्चुअली एयरपोर्ट गया था अपने ब्रदर को पिक करने के लिए अभी हमें एक सड़क से घुमा के दूसरे साइड से ले जा रहे हैं इफ दे हैव टू कर्व अस लाइक दिस दे शुड हैव कैंसिल ऑल द फ्लाइट्स आई वांट टू आस्क whosoever the incharge here is where should we go now अगर इतना आपको सिकनेस करना था आपको फ्लाइट्स कैंसिल करनी चाहिए थी और गिव अस अ सिक्योर्ड रूट जो कि खुला है यहाँ से हम अपने घर तक जा सकते हैं हम लोग कोई घूमने नहीं निकले हुए
प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है मतलब कितनी प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही है अभी
ऑब्वियसली हम एयरपोर्ट से यहाँ तक हमें एटलीस्ट 5 बार रोका गया होगा इमरजेंसी गाड़ियों को ऑल्दो छोड़ रहे हैं लेकिन उनसे भी पूछताछ की जा रही है इतना क्या हो रहा है और ना किसी चीज़ का हमें नॉलेज है कि हो क्या रहा है क्या हो रहा है खाम एक रात में ना कर्फ्यू डिक्लेयर कर दी ऐसा क्या हो गया
कभी देखा था ऐसा कश्मीर में सोचा था कभी ऐसा कि लैंडलाइन सेवा भी बंद होगी
लैंडलाइन सेवा बंद होना BSNL पोस्टपेड बंद होना ये मैंने पहली बार देखा और यहाँ पहली बार ऐसा टर्मोइल नहीं स्टार्ट हो रहा है एंड द वर्स्ट पार्ट इज वी नॉट इवन नो कि हो क्या रहा है
थैंक यू
All right, so the people there expressing their anguish, frustration on the lack of information and the complete clampdown which we are now seeing in Jammu and Kashmir. There is breaking news coming in on the bulletin. In fact, Congress has given an adjournment notice in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha on the Kashmir issue. So while the key cabinet meeting on security is going to take place at the Prime Minister's residence shortly, Congress has given adjournment motion notice in both the houses. National Affairs Editor Rahul Srivastava with me. Rahul, just to explain to our viewers what is an adjournment motion, this is going to be one of the key issues for all the opposition parties today in the parliament, while the BJP has asked all its MPs to be present in both the houses.
It's basically an instrument in the hands of the opposition or any member of the house that it can ask for an adjournment. Adjournment means setting aside the daily business which has been already fixed as far as the house is concerned and taking up urgent matters of attention. Largely depends on the chair whether the issue is allowed, because usually people in the chair like that their fixed agenda should be taken up and unless in their wisdom the issue merits instant discussion, setting aside businesses like question hour or others. Ankit, what is very important here is that when we saw yesterday a lot of political activity in Srinagar, all the political parties getting together, saying that they're planning to meet the President, the Prime Minister, saying that any tinkering with the constitutional guarantees provided to the people of Kashmir will be an attack on identity.
Yes.
There was an absence of the big political parties, the Congress and the BJP. BJP naturally so, but one will have to wait and see how the Congress approaches the issue in Parliament and outside.
Sudesh Verma of the BJP also with us on the broadcast. Sudesh ji, the overwhelming sense right now also is, and this has been expressed by all political parties, that once again the whole big brotherly attitude of the BJP is being displayed. We will decide, we will not consult anybody, and whatever we decide has to be done in Kashmir. Is this, according to you, the best way forward, sir?
I don't think so, because you should give the government, both the central government and the honorable governor there, to take measures depending on the evolving situation, and maybe the situation is sensitive that cannot be shared with people. Whatever decision the governor has taken there, that should be respected, because it is in the best interest of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. We are with people of Jammu and Kashmir, and of course there is a government, there is no question of big brotherly attitude, because we have to take decisions to safeguard the life and property of every citizen of this country. So nobody should try to make politics out of it, you know. There must be a situation that has emerged, and as time comes it will be shared also with them.
As it will be on need-to-know basis, that's what the BJP spokesperson is telling us. Remember, there is a very crucial cabinet security meeting, cabinet committee on security meeting, which is going to take place at the Prime Minister's residence in just about 10 minutes from now. Let me also bring in Major General Siwaj on this issue. General Siwaj, your appreciation of the entire situation. One thing is very clear, that there are two different parameters, two different situations that the government is dealing with. One is the escalation on the LC, and there is a completely different matter that the government is dealing in the hinterland in Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir. So two different security matrix now being put in place for the people, unprecedented though.
Absolutely correct, Ankit. There is no denying the fact what is happening on line of control is de-linked than what is happening in the hinterland. As far as line of control is concerned, the Pakistan has activated line of control not only now, almost about 7 days back. About 300 to 400 terrorists are sitting on a launch pad to be infiltrated inside. They have already done 7 bad action in last about 10 days. And the last one, you know it, that border action team which has ventured in Karen sector.
May I request you to stay on with me? Sunil Ji Bhatt, my colleague, is now in Jammu, and he is with the president of Jammu and Kashmir BJP, Ravinder Raina. Sunil, over to you. Quick question about the prevailing situation. Does the BJP also feel that it is now BJP versus all other political parties in the state of Jammu and Kashmir?
Well, Ankit, I will straight go to the president of Jammu and Kashmir BJP, Mr. Ravinder Raina. Mr. Raina, everybody is very anxious. Tell us what's going to happen. You must be in touch with your central party leaders. What's going to happen?
See, whatever the decision is being taken by the Modi government, the decision will definitely be in the interest of our nation. The decision will definitely be in the interest of people of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. We have suffered a lot for last 60, 70 years in Jammu and Kashmir, and all we suffered because of the Nehruvian blunders, the Congress blunders. They repeated made blunders after blunders in Jammu and Kashmir, and whatever the decision.
What are you hearing from your central party leader?
See, for last 5 years, Mr. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi Sahab did lot of betterment of people of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, and we are quite sure that whatever decision will be taken will be in the interest of India, will be in the interest of people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Mr. Ravinder Raina, our colleagues in Srinagar have been speaking to the people. They are saying that they are being put to inconvenience.
See, sometimes for the sake of interest, for the sake of society, to make some corrections, such kind of situation arises, but I assure from India Today to all the viewers in Kashmir Valley that we are here for the safeguard of people of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. No need to worry. Mr. Prime Minister Modi Sahab and all of us are with our people of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh.
Mr. Ravinder Raina, two former chief ministers, Umar Abdullah as well as Mehbooba Mufti, have been put under house arrest. Is it right the people who were once elected democratically as the chief ministers have been put to house arrest?
See, the statements and the activities of Sri Umar Abdullah and Sushri Mehbooba Mufti for last 10 days, how they tried to instigate the common man in Kashmir Valley. They tried to create anarchy and mess in Kashmir Valley. They are repeatedly supporting the anti-national elements. Every time when it comes to the Kashmir-based political leaders, they support the Pakistani elements. It is very unfortunate. They are Indian. They are enjoying everything from India, and they are supporting and dancing on the tones of Pakistanis. This is ridiculous.
Ankit, you want to ask any question?
All right, Sunil, we will in fact, but at this point of time, I have to take a very quick break. I request all of you to stay with me. Also to our guests, this is going to be our top focus in just about 5 to 6 minutes. The very important cabinet meeting at the Prime Minister's residence is going to begin, and possibly is going to end the uncertainty and absolutely lack of any information on the current state of Jammu and Kashmir. Stay tuned. This is going to be our top focus. We will get you all the latest for more. All right, breaking news coming in. Prime Minister's cabinet meeting begins. This is the big story we have been tracking since morning, and the cabinet meeting has now begun. I mean, all speculation possibly are going to end after this meeting. A big decision expected in the cabinet meeting. Kamaljeet Sandhu joining us from 7 Lok Kalyan Marg, the residence of the Prime Minister. Kamal, the meeting begins. Have all the cabinet members reached? Have they reached the Prime Minister's residence?
Yes, all the CCS members have arrived. This is the big moment. It's going to be a historic decision. Remember, there was no agenda which was circulated. As usual, when there is a CCS which is done, the cabinet is usually a time during the parliament session on Wednesday. But this one has been done on Monday. So yes, the timing has been well thought of. The security forces are already in position. Remember, most of the deployment has been of the Central Armed Police Force, better known as the paramilitary troops. So yes, the planning is in position. It's been going on for several days. Even some of the state leaders, including Umar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti, the former chief ministers, have been placed under house arrest. And in the wake of all these developments comes the cabinet decision. So there is no second guessing. This is going to be on Jammu and Kashmir. This is going to be regarding the status of J&K. Whether this is regarding Article 35A, as my sources are suggesting it, will be seen in some time from now.
Yes.
But whatever it is, it's going to be a historic decision. This comes shortly before August 15, the Independence Day. So yes, it's going to have wide ramification. Remember, people have this issue very close to their heart, and that is why we will see some sort of reaction coming in from Kashmir Valley. But till the time the curfew is imposed, and then there is the issue of Bhadarwa, Poonch, Rajouri, the other districts, especially in the Jammu region, which have also been clamped down along with the other sectors. But clearly, all eyes on the CCS.
Well, the Home Minister, the National Security Advisor, other ministers have reached the Prime Minister's residence for this very important meeting. Rahul Srivastav, very quickly, you understand how this whole business of cabinet meetings and how at least the functioning of this government, very important aspect before the cabinet meeting was Home Minister meeting the Prime Minister along with the National Security Advisor.
Ankit, if something big, a lot has happened on the ground, impacts, manifestations are visible, and if something that big is happening, there are 4 people who I am told are in the know of what exactly is happening. One is the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, the National Security Advisor, and the Army Chief. And as Kamaljeet also said, no agenda was distributed till late last night yesterday. Cabinet agenda will be tabled only after the meeting starts. We can tell our viewers...
Is that usual? Is that usual, the agenda not being given to...
Only when there is an attempt to control the level of secrecy about the cabinet agenda. What happens that usually in cabinet meetings, the cabinet agenda is circulated. And that circulation, that virtually every minister gets a copy of the cabinet agenda in which their ministry or whatever might be there or not. That means there is a large exposure to what the cabinet agenda is. But once it is laid by the cabinet secretary inside the cabinet meeting, then definitely nobody really knows. Ankit, I would like to tell you something interesting breaking if we have time right now.
Go ahead.
There is something in the offing because of which the central government issued advisories to states which are largely known as communally sensitive states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and others. Anti-riot drills were held in states, all of these states yesterday. The states were asked to be alert for any kind of rioting and other communal inciting.
So whatever is going to happen will have repercussions all across the country. We were just putting out who all are the members of the Cabinet Committee on Security: the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, Raksha Mantri, Foreign Minister, also the Finance Minister part of this committee, and along with that the NSA, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Now, very quickly, I just want to go to Mr. Gaur, who is a constitutional expert and with us on the show. Mr. Gaur, very quickly, 2 things I've been speaking, people are speaking about: Article 370 and Article 35A. What is the difference? What is the difference when it comes to for the government if they want to act on either or both?
See, 35 creates the distinction between the possession in the other part of residents of India and Kashmiri residents. 370 talks about the governance. Now, in exercise of the power under 370, certain decisions are being made. So,
Okay, we'll just try and reconnect with Mr. Gaur in just a short while from now. But Rahul, 35A was an order which was passed, if I'm not mistaken, by the cabinet. So that by a presidential accent can be taken back. But as far as 370 is concerned, that will need the parliament and the assembly being also involved in it, isn't it?
Ankit, the government does not need to tinker with 370. 370 was a provision in the Constitution of India that the President of India can promulgate temporary arrangements. So it was a provisioning article in the Constitution. It was 35A, which was the contentious one. Following a meeting between the then so-called Prime Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Sheikh Abdullah, and Prime Minister of India, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, a special provision was created, 35A, which gave a certain constitutional guarantee and citizenship rights to the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
That's right.
After extending Indian citizenship to all the people of Jammu and Kashmir. That became a contention because it was created under a clause which was temporary. Second, it was created by the cabinet and sent to the president for promulgation. It never was received the endorsement of parliament. And creation of an article in the Constitution.
Rahul, please stay on with me. Let me go across to Shujaul Thakur, who is with a PDP spokesperson right now, to get a sense of the political parties in the valley, how they are, in fact, looking at all the developments. Shujaul, over to you.
Thank you, Ankit. I am joined by Mr. Suhail Bukhari. He is the leader of the People's Democratic Party. And since past few days, there has been a lot of uncertainty and heightened political activity here over this issue. Let me just try and ask Suhail. Suhail, since last night, we're seeing unprecedented sort of developments taking place. Mehbooba Mufti has been put under house arrest. We're seeing Umar Abdullah being put under house arrest. Many of your leaders also not been able to move out or participate in activities. How do you see all these developments taking place now?
Well, why would you say only last night or in the last 2 days? There have been things which are unprecedented that have been happening over last 10 odd days. When was the last time you saw Amarnath Yatra being called off midway? Despite the fact that we had worse times, we've had attacks, but the Government of India and security agencies ensured that any attempt that would have been probably aimed at forcing the government to close it was not given the space. Despite attacks, we saw additional security forces coming in and ensuring that the yatra did continue. This time around, that has been abandoned. Now, that is really unprecedented. And it's all that has been happening over the last 10 odd days. This is a very difficult time, I would say, for the people of the state, because being the residents and citizens of a place where all this is happening and a lot of intrigue and anxiety has been created and nobody seems to be knowing anything. I think it's a moral and legal duty of the Government of India, given that the state is under President's rule, that they intimate and inform the people at large as to what is happening. They just cannot create the kind of panic that they've done. I would say it's a state administration sponsored panic that has been created by all that happened, and you would have reported, whether it be advisories, orders, security deployment and whatnot. Yes, all that is happening in Kashmir is definitely something that has put people in a very difficult situation, and Government of India ought to...
Suhail, now we are getting reports of all sort of speculations about Article 35A being abrogated or amended. No, just remember that nothing has happened yet, but these are all speculations. But if it is that, how will parties like that of yours react?
See, yesterday late in the evening, we saw an all-party meet that was essentially called for by Mehbooba Mufti, the president of PDP and chief minister. That saw a united declaration come in. We would see any abrogation or alteration in the constitutional articles of 35A and 370, or for that matter, an unconstitutional delimitation, if that were to be, because that's also something that has been talked about as a possibility. We would take that as an aggression on the people of Jammu and Kashmir, because these are the sovereign, promises which form the constitutional guarantees that have been given to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Remember, the only Muslim majority state that defied the two-nation theory and based on these guarantees acceded to a secular India. Now, 70 years down the line, you can't tell us, well, these promises do not stand now.
That's right. Ankit, this is the viewpoint of one of the prominent mainstream political party in the valley. We've seen unprecedented sort of a clampdown even on the mainstream political parties. And like we've been mentioning, it's again unprecedented that two former chief ministers are under house arrest in Kashmir.
Right, Shuja, stay on with me. We are getting a breaking news. Rahul was just telling us a short while back, Centre has issued alert advisories to states ahead of the Union Cabinet meeting. Several states have been asked to be on high alert. Police forces in Uttar Pradesh and other states have carried out anti-riot drills. States have been advised to remain alert against attempts to fan communal clashes. Kamaljeet Sandhu and Rahul Srivastava continue to be with us. Kamal, coming to you first. This is an important advisory. That means the Centre does think that whatever happens in Kashmir can take a communal turn. People could utilize it as a Hindu versus Muslim sort of a situation.
Well, yes, that is why Home Ministry has to think beyond it has to think out of the box. This is also not just a last-minute thing. So the planning has been done not just for Jammu and Kashmir, but outside Kashmir as well. And that is why we see that this is going to have a wider ramification. Remember, if there is rejoicing which is done either in Jammu or in other parts, this could actually be a touchy issue for people of Kashmir.
Absolutely.
So all that has to be factored in, whether this could actually push in some sort of spasm between Hindu and Muslims. So obviously,
Kamal,
communally
stay on with me. Let me also bring in Poulami Saha, our colleague who is joining us with more details on this. Poulami, the government readied itself. There has to be, in fact, precaution that the Centre has to take. But as far as the party is concerned, the BJP is concerned, full strength in both the houses today, and that is significant in whatever the cabinet decides. And with the way the opposition, in fact, is now planning to attack the government in the parliament.
Well, Ankit, we're definitely going to witness fireworks in Parliament today after whatever is decided upon in that very crucial cabinet meeting, which is, of course, being preceded by the CCS meeting at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg at this moment, because already we know that the Congress, Manish Tiwari to be specific, has given an adjournment notice in Parliament over the issue of Kashmir and has demanded that the Prime Minister reply on the floor of the House as well. The opposition will definitely gheraw the government in both houses of Parliament, but the government itself is not taking any chances. The BJP has already issued a whip for both houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, over these next 3 days, which is the 5th, 6th and 7th, until this session comes to a close, unless, of course, they take a call to extend this session, which is again something in the realm of speculation, something that they're discussing internally already about extending this session. Also, very importantly, 0 hour is being scrapped in Rajya Sabha today because Mr. Amit Shah will be introducing the JNK Reservation Amendment Bill 2019. This is the second amendment which has been brought in as far as this bill is concerned to the 2004 Act. So that will be introduced and moved for passage in the Rajya Sabha today. So clearly a lot of hectic developments in Parliament as well. From RCR, from 7 Lok Kalyan Marg, we expect the action to shift to Parliament itself, and the government is not taking any chances.
And that could, in fact, take place very soon, as far as this meeting already has started at the Prime Minister's residence. Poulami, stay on with us. All right, the Cabinet Committee on Security meet is underway at the Prime Minister's residence as we speak. It started at 9:30, so it's almost been 15 to 16 minutes that this important meeting is on. And remember, just ahead of this meeting, there was a crucial meeting with the Home Minister and the National Security Advisor. Meanwhile, let's quickly listen in to Ghulam Nabi Azad, Senior Congress Leader, who is speaking on this.
हम अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हैं कि अभी तक जो नॉन मेन स्ट्रीम पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ थी उनको हाउस अरेस्ट किया था, हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं थी. लेकिन अब एक्स चीफ मिनिस्टरों को, एक्स मिनिस्टर्स को, सभी पार्टीज़ के, कांग्रेस के भी एक्स मिनिस्टर जेल अंदर रखा गया है. 3 CM जो हैं NC के और PDP के, वो भी हाउस अरेस्ट हैं. CPIM के जनरल सेक्रेटरी हाउस अरेस्ट है. तो किसी भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को इन्होंने रखा नहीं है. तो अगर ये मेन स्ट्रीम पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं हिंदुस्तान की, उन्हीं को बंद रखा जाए, तो फिर किस तरह की राजनीति भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है? इसको ये लोकतंत्र की हत्या है, डेमोक्रेसी की हत्या है, डेमोक्रेसी का कत्ल हो रहा है. टूरिज्म जम्मू कश्मीर में, मैंने पार्लियामेंट में भी कहा था, एक साजिश के तौर पे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया चल रही है कि आर्थिक तौर पर, इक्तिसादी तौर पर जम्मू कश्मीर को ख़त्म करना है। टूरिज़्म अभी बिल्कुल इस वक्त टूरिज़्म का बूम था और ये महीने हैं अभी अगस्त सितंबर अक्टूबर टूरिज़्म के। इसी बीच में आप पर्यटकों को बुला रहे हैं, आप यात्रियों को उनकी यात्रा जो बेचारे लाखों लोग दूर दूर से आए हैं अपनी यात्रा करने उनको वापस बुला रहे हैं। तो ये कैसी राजनीति है भारतीय जनता
आजाद सर, पार्लियामेंट में आप लोग की क्या स्ट्रैटेजी होगी?
पार्लियामेंट में हम उठाएंगे, पार्लियामेंट में उठाएंगे। सरकार पार्लियामेंट सेशन में है और हम मजबूर करेंगे प्राइम मिनिस्टर को कि दोनों सदनों में वो स्टेटमेंट दे और लोग को कॉन्फिडेंस में लें, भारत को कॉन्फिडेंस में लें थ्रू पार्लियामेंट, लोकसभा और राज्यसभा के।
10 बजे अपोजिशन के लीडर्स की मीटिंग भी आप लोग ले रहे हैं सर? सर, आप 10 बजे मीटिंग कर रहे हैं
और ये सब छोड़ो,
अपोजिशन लीडर्स
तुम लोगों को ये एप्लीकेशन ही चलती रहती।
तो गुलाम नबी आजाद कांग्रेस
Right, Ghulam Nabi Azad of the Congress Party saying that they are going to, in fact, corner the government on the Jammu and Kashmir issue in the parliament today. Kamaljeet Sandhu continues to be with us. She's at the Lok Kalyan Marg, the residence of the Prime Minister. Kamal, just bring us an update about this meeting. It has started. All participants inside, all eyes on what the cabinet decides today.
It's already underway for about 20 minutes now, Ankit. So yes, important decision, historic decision to be made. The opposition already accusing the government of a muscular policy, talking about how the troops have been sent here, how there have been house arrest of the former chief ministers, Mehbooba Mufti, Umar Abdullah. But this is on expected lines. Whenever there was a build-up of these troops being done, when the regional parties were raking this up, the mainstream parties, they were being lax. Remember asking the Congress leaders whether they will be raising the issue in the parliament. They had all the last 1 week where they could have cornered the government regarding the panic and anxiety in Kashmir Valley. Somehow they failed to put their act together. They failed to ask the government, and yes, the government seems to have got its way. The government had sent its troops. There seems to be quite a lot of planning which has gone in.
Right.
And we've been looking at the timeline since before Lok Sabha elections. The blueprint for this has been on. So clearly, once again,
Kamal,
the opposition
may I
being
request you
caught
to
off
stay on
guard.
with us? There is
Now,
another breaking news coming in. People's Democratic Party, Kashmir-based PDP's Rajya Sabha MP Nazir Ahmed Lawe has given a 0-hour notice in the House over the Kashmir issue. Rajya Sabha chairperson has made provision to hold 0-hour after taking an important bill in Rajya Sabha mentioned in the Parliament bulletin. Let me bring in Polumi Saha, who's covering the Parliament and is joining us live with more details. So as expected, the Kashmir parties, Kashmiri-based, Valley-based parties, Kamal, and the opposition all up against the government. They are trying to corner the government in both the houses of the Parliament.
That's right, Ankit. As we were discussing earlier, opposition is going to mount pressure on the government to come clear on exactly what is going on vis-a-vis Jammu and Kashmir. What is their game plan? Obviously, if it is a decision of any nature which is taken in the cabinet, they will, of course, because Parliament is in session, they are going to come to Parliament and, inform the houses as well. So that will happen. But before that, the opposition is already, given the uncertainty and the kind of situation on the ground in Kashmir, the kind of measures unprecedented at that have been taken on the ground in Kashmir, they're going to try and corner the government on the same. So yes, we spoke about Congress's Manish Tiwari giving a notice in the Lok Sabha. PDP's Nazir Ahmed Lawe has given a notice in the Rajya Sabha as well. And as we discussed earlier, 0-hour is being scrapped today. The chairman has notified all political parties about the same. 0-hour will be taken up after important bills, urgent bills are taken up for consideration. And one of them, as I was pointing out, is the bill on the J&K reservation amendment, and that is going to be moved for passage by the Home Minister Amit Shah. So that will be taken up almost as soon as Rajya Sabha convenes this morning. So very important developments that are likely to take place in Parliament.
Right, Polumi, just stay on with me. In fact, let's very quickly bring our viewers up to speed with whatever has happened so far. Unprecedented clampdown in Kashmir after hectic overnight developments. Internet service, broadband services, even the landline services have been snapped across the Kashmir Valley. In fact, sources saying that even during the Kargil war, the land restrictions were not put in place. National Conference Chief Umar Abdullah and PDB Chief Mehbooba Mufti have been put under house arrest. Both shared concerns over the clampdown in the valley. Congress leader Usman Majid and CPIM MLA MY Tarigami claimed to have been arrested. Satellite phones have also been given to key officials in Jammu and Kashmir government and paramilitary forces to communicate. Jammu and Kashmir Governor also held late-night meeting with DGP, IG and Chief Secretary to review the security scenario in the state. The government has imposed restrictions under Section 144 in Srinagar and Jammu. All education institutions shall also remain closed. There is complete bar on holding any kind of public meeting or rallies.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.